Greetings, my fellow philosophical thinkers. Thank you for tuning to LL3 Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful realms of planet Earth. Today's date is Thursday, April 16th. Yeah, sorry about that. 2026. This is episode 1959. The Erasure of White European Heritage in South Africa. Before I proceed, you can find me on multiple social media sites and podcast channels. Just type in Looky Luck number 3, Looky Luck Roman number 3 with 3 eyes, or Looky Luck Roman number 3 podcast. In addition, if you have questions, comments, recommendations, all that good stuff, whatever you do, please use the quorum. Hit me via email to ll3.podcast@proton.me if you're going to donate, go to paypal.me or cash.app/Looky Luck number 3. Oh, yeah, so just been working, a little bit tired, but that's okay. It's part of my livelihood. I'm not one of those full-time podcasters. You know, I don't mind making money on this, but sometimes you gotta do something to fall back on, in my personal view, in good faith. And it's okay, man. I could accept it. Yep, typical routines. On and off, blame games. Some of the 8-pack hacks are stepping down. It's very comical as usual. Doesn't matter if they're red or blue. Elephant donkeys, Democrat Republicans. They are lefties. That's what they have in common. We're lefties, yeah. But they don't want you to know that. So, with their propaganda matrix, rhetorical deceptions, etc. Well, enough for that. I just saw this article here, little column, by the freewestmedia.com. Came out today. And like it says here, defending freedom of expression. It is written by Mr. Root. I think his name is R-O-O-D-T, right? Dan Root. Yeah, Root. So, there's an opinion. And it's about European heritage. Erasure of white European heritage in South Africa. 30 years in the post-apartheid era, South Africa finds itself locked in a contest over memory, and the losers increasingly are the stones, streets, and statues that once marked the physical presence of European settlement on the southernmost tip of Africa. The erasure of white European heritage in South Africa is proceeding at pace, and the full cost of that erasure deserves examination. The most viable front of this campaign has been toppling and vandalism of monuments. The most famous case is the Rhodes Must Fall movement, which led to the removal of the statue of British colonist Cecil John Rhodes from the campus of the University of Cape Town in April 2015. What began as a student protest quickly became a nationwide reckoning. Since then, statues across the country have been attacked. The monument to 19th century Afrikaner leader Paul Kruger in Church Square, Pretoria, is now surrounded by fencing after being vandalized several times. So persistently has the original been targeted that on 10th October 2025. The Afrikaner enclave of Orania unveiled a bronze replica of the Kruger monument to a crowd of about 2,000 people, precisely because the original in Pretoria is frequently vandalized. A community forced to erect a copy of its own monument simply to preserve what the original represents. That is a remarkable and telling image. The renaming of streets and cities has been an equally relentless process. Since 1994, numerous locations in South Africa have been renamed. In early 2012 alone, 27 streets in central Pretoria had their names changed, including General Louis Botha Drive, which became January Malicia Drive. Jan Smuts International Airport became O.R. Tambo International Airport. As of 2024, over 1,500 geographical features has been renamed, including more than 80 towns. These are not merely administrative changes. They are a systematic dismantling of the toponym landscape that generations of Afrikaner and English-speaking white South Africans have called home. Some opposition, including political parties, including Freeze Front Plus and the Democratic Alliance, along with Afrikaner civil rights groups, rightly pointed out that the renamings were part of the city's plan to erase Afrikaner and white heritage from the cityscape. Their concern is not merely sentimental. A community whose language, heroes, architecture, and place names are steadily removed from the public realm is a community being told, quietly but unmistakably, that does not fully belong. Then there is a deeply troubling matter of language directed at white South Africans, and at the white farmers in particular. The struggle song Dubois Ibn Hunu, commonly translated as Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer, has become one of the most divisive flashpoints in post-apartheid South Africa. The song experienced a revival when it's notably sung by then ANC Youth League leader Julius Malema and by former South African President Jacob Zuma. In September 2011, the Equality Court at the South Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg ruled that the song was discriminatory, harmful, undermined the dignity of Afrikaners, and a prima facie satisfies the crime of incitement to murder, forbidding Malema from singing it in the future. That ruling, however, was later superseded. The Supreme Court of Appeals in 2024 ruled that anyone would appreciate that Malema was not actually calling for farmers to be shot, and that he was using historic struggle song as a provocative means of advancing his party's political agenda. The court is notoriously aligned with the ruling ANC and a rubber stamp for its anti-white affirmative action policies. These policies aim to affirm the rights of a majority over a minority, contrary to what it is supposed to do. At the EFF's 10th anniversary rally in 2023, anti-right firebrand Malema sang the song to an estimated 90,000 supporters at the FNB Stadium. There's video footage of that. You should check it out for yourselves, folks. The court's reasonings beg a moral question. What does it do to a community when a song calling for its killing is performed to 10,000s of people declared lawful and met with official silence? Whatever its historical origins in the anti-apartheid struggle, the continued performance of this chant in the present democratic era is an act of cultural intimidation, a reminder to white South Africans and to Afrikaner farmers in particular that their place in this country remains contested in the most visceral terms. The alarmingly high number of murdered farmers only underlines the threat from the ANC. It is that the context that the Rutgers monument, the White Cross monument, must be understood. Since January 2004, symbolic white painted metal crosses have been planted on a hillside along the N1 route near Mokopane, formerly known as Patricius. Oh, hold on here. Patigrisis. Excuse me. In Limpopo. Hopefully, hey, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing these names and words. So if you want to correct me, I would appreciate it. Representing each death in the South African farm attack, the number of crosses grew to just under 3,000 by 2023. The monument was established by a farming community that feels authorities have not done enough to protect them. It is a grassroots act of grief and people counting their dead when the state would not. The monument has become controversial, swept up in international political debates. Its critics complain that it memorializes only white victims and that farm violence in South Africa is not racially exclusive. From April 2023 to March 2024, the 49 farm murders recorded by AfriForum represented 0.2% of overall murders nationally. But the critics who deploy these statistics to dismiss the monument entirely miss something essential. Nearly 3,000 crosses represent nearly 3,000 human individual tragedies. Real people, real families, real communities shattered. The fact that South Africa's catastrophic general murder rate dwarfs the specific toll does not nullify the attacks on the white minority, nor does it address the lived experience of rural Africana communities who feel abandoned by the state, surrounded by rhetoric that dehumanizes them and watching their cultural landmark disappear one by one. It is worth being honest about what all this heritage represents. The Vertrekkers who moved into the interior in the 1830s, the Dutch Reformed churches that still stand in hundreds of small towns, the Cape Dutch homesteads of the winelands. These are not only symbols of oppression, they are the accumulated expression of a specific culture. The Afrikaner people have no other home. Their language, Afrikaans, grew on this soil. Heritage destruction is not in the interest of humanity. It can only serve to legitimate other aspects of heritage violation. This principle does not become less valid because the targets are Europeans. A country generally at peace with its past does not need to destroy it. It contextualizes, explains, and expands, adding plaques rather than tearing down walls, building new monuments rather than dynamiting old ones. What South Africa is conducting is not a building of shared heritage, it is an attempt at cultural dominance dressed in the language of transformation. The Cape Dutch gable, the Groot Kerk, and the poetry of N.P. van Wyk, Lau, are unique in Africa. None of them cancels others. The ongoing erasure of white European heritage, in stone, in name, and in all the songs sung at the political rallies, is a sign that history is being railroaded into permanent grievance and that all South Africans of every origin will ultimately be the poorer for it. Well, this is just an example of what's been happening. Cancel culture, political correctness, Orwellian snowflakes in heat. And it's been going on for a very long time. Many call it a Marxian communist movement. Yeah, they like color revolution. Even happened in times when Mao conquered the People's Republic of China, right? After the overthrow of Chiang Kai-shek. Just dismantling everything. Even with the Holy Roman Empire, destroying the pagans of the Nordics and Celtic heritage as well. What we're seeing right now is part of the one world order. They want to destroy individualism, culture, and heritage. And these maggots, these commies, are just not more than foot soldiers. This is plainly unacceptable, and even Genocide Watch renounced it, like they did with the apartheid. They see it like other way around, it's all the same. Hatred, blame a particular group, witch hunt, scapegoat. Remember this, my friends. 107 million died by the hands of rogue governments in the 20th century. There's even like 262 million. Democide. All you gotta look at is the history of government, and you can figure this out really damn quick. And then many of the people who are black renounce what's going on with the Afrikaners, because they can be next. According to Genocide Watch, they're going after Afrikaners, Boers, and African immigrants. Blame them for all the problems. But when their government came and wiped their own rear end, they're going to try to tell you how to think and live and blame the other person. That's called projection. They don't have the courage to look at themselves, but they'll just use it, point the other direction. That's damage control. People get offended by this. I don't give a damn what you think. But it's unacceptable, and I renounce this with a passion. Like I did with all genocide, democide, holocaust. Including what happened in Rwanda too. And I digress. Even the firearm laws there are treasonous. They want the state to control everybody. Yeah, okay, so if you get rid of the Afrikaners, who's going to be next? When it comes to tyranny, totalitarianism, it's a cancer that spreads like fire. Something to really think about. To all you folks out there involved, you need to take a look in the mirror real deep and say, am I benefiting this or being played? Don't be surprised if you're being used or grifted. They all think you're a bunch of cockroaches. The only way to do it is tell them where to go. Give them the big middle finger and let them know you're nothing without us. And I do remember many years ago, King Solomon wanted to do the sovereign state of Good Hope. Separate, secede from Cape Town. Like, you have Cape Town as part of their area. It looks like the Afrikaners trying to separate from the Republic of South Africa. You can't really blame them. Because basically what they talk about so far, that place is in hell in a handbasket. A lot of issues, politically speaking, is detrimenting that area of the continent. What we're seeing right now, folks, part of the economic collapse worldwide. So Afrikaners out there, I always have you in my thoughts, even though this time I don't talk about this, but I do share the information the best I can to let everyone know. If they go after you, who's going to be next? Think before you speak, folks. Don't let these douchebags, Jim Jones Jamboreans, tell you any different. They want you to say it's your fault, it's their fault for you being pathetic, weak, and counterproductive. Bless everyone in the whole world, including South Africa, Afrikaners, the people there need to unite, stand against their government, which is treasonous. Let these maggots know that you control your destinies, not them. Stop pointing the finger and take a look in the mirror if you participate in this tyrannical practice. Well, that will be it. I thank everyone for listening. But feel free to download and share us throughout your social media networks. If you need questions, comments, recommendations, all that good stuff, whatever you do, please use decorum. Hit me via email to ll3.podcast@proton.me. If you want to donate, go to PayPal.me or cash out @/local3. If you want to donate or support Free West Media, please do so. Subscribe. Be greatly appreciated. Something like the mainstream news, don't want you to know. Always see things a lot bigger than what they present to you. All right. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that the demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love. And may your guardian spirits be with you.